Nicolae Ceausescu was born on January 26, 1918, in a poor peasant family in the village of Scornicești, Romania. From an early age, he was drawn to radical politics. By the time he was a teenager, he had joined the underground Romanian Communist Party, which was banned at the time. His commitment to communist ideals and his boldness got him arrested multiple times. But prison turned out to be a training ground. There he connected with future communist leaders who would shape Romania's destiny after World War II. When the Soviets occupied Romania at the end of the war, the communists seized power. Ceausescu rose through the ranks under the wing of Gheorghe Dej, Romania's first communist leader. He cultivated an image of loyalty and humility, which made him seem harmless to his rivals. When Gheorghe Dej died in 1965, Ceausescu outmaneuvered more senior comrades and became General Secretary of the Romanian Communist Party and soon after, the country's undisputed leader. At first, Ceausescu was popular, both at home and abroad. He distanced Romania from Moscow's tight grip, refusing to take part in the 1968 invasion of Czechoslovakia by Warsaw Pact forces. This bold defiance earned him admiration in the West, and foreign leaders welcomed him as an independent communist voice during the Cold War. Western countries offered Romania loans and technology, hoping to pull it further away from Soviet influence. At home, Ceausescu portrayed himself as the people's father, the genius of the Carpathians. He launched massive industrialization projects, built enormous concrete apartment blocks, and dreamed of transforming Romania into a modern, self-reliant powerhouse. He pushed for rural systematization, demolishing villages and forcing people into urban centers to work in factories. But beneath the carefully staged parades and propaganda lay a regime built on fear and absolute control. The dreaded Securitate, Romania's secret police, infiltrated every level of society. Neighbors spied on neighbors, families turned on each other, and no one felt truly safe to speak their mind. Ceausescu and his wife, Elena, built a cult of personality that rivaled North Korea's, covering the country with portraits, statues, and slogans praising their brilliance. By the late 1970s, Ceausescu's reckless policies began to take their toll. He borrowed heavily from the West to fund his grand projects, but squandered much of the money on unprofitable industries and megalomaniac construction. Determined to pay off Romania's foreign debt at any cost, he ordered brutal austerity measures. Food, heat, electricity, all were rationed, while the dictator and his inner circle lived lavishly behind palace walls. Daily life for ordinary Romanians turned into a grim battle for survival. People queued for hours for bread and meat that often never arrived. Apartments were freezing in winter, and dissent was crushed before it could spread. But anger simmered under the surface, waiting for a spark. That spark came in December 1989, in the city of Timișoara. When the government tried to evict a dissident pastor, protests erupted and quickly turned into a full-fledged uprising. Ceausescu, out of touch and defiant, ordered the army to shoot protesters, hoping fear would restore order. Instead, the violence only fanned the flames. Days later, Ceausescu tried to rally the people in Bucharest with a mass speech. For the first time in decades, the crowd booed him. Shocked, Ceausescu froze, visibly rattled on live TV. Chaos spread through the capital. Soldiers began siding with protesters. Within hours, the once untouchable leader was on the run. Nicolae and Elena fled by helicopter, but were captured by the army. On December 25, 1989, they faced a hasty trial on charges of genocide and abuse of power. In a cold, snowy courtyard, they were executed by firing squad, a grim end to a rule that had promised prosperity but delivered misery and fear. Today, Ceausescu's legacy is visible in Romania's massive, crumbling concrete blocks and the gargantuan palace of the parliament in Bucharest, the second-largest administrative building in the world, a symbol of his ego and the people's suffering. For many Romanians, the fall of Ceausescu remains a painful but pivotal reminder of what happens when absolute power silences an entire nation until the people finally find their voice.